Hi, my name is Leon Monsalud, and I will be going over my process for the end-year tribute to the well-renowned photographer Tom Medvedich. Tom Medvedich is a commercial photographer from New Jersey who has done work for many pro basketball players and hip-hop artists. Aside from portraiture, he does still life photography for some of the finest luxury brands. Medvedich didn't become a pro overnight. During high school, he failed photography class and barely passed after retaking the course. It was during college where he decided to give it another shot, which led him to where he is today. At first glance, this looks like just a pair of basketball shoes. However, I find this photo interesting because I believe it tells a story. For those unfamiliar, this is the first pair of Jordans that started the Nike Air Jordan series. Rather than being shown in mint condition, it is dirty and broken down. It takes hard work and thousands of hours of practice to become a pro. I was inspired by Tom Medvedich's story and by the interviews he featured on. I admire and have an interest for many of the subjects on his portfolio. Trying to emulate him allowed me to better understand the choices he makes as a photographer, as I attempt to do the same thing. I thought perhaps I can communicate a similar concept. To pull this off, I will use a pair of Jordan 1s that isn't as worn down, but still appear used. It will show the viewer that sometimes you have to get your shoes dirty to learn and grow. In order to get my image from idea to the final work, I had to execute what I had written down on my shot diary and concept sketches. I took multiple shots during the shoot for possible alternatives. After compiling my shots, I took them into Adobe Camera Raw and Photoshop. There, I adjusted the settings using adjustment layers to do my best to match the effects on my reference photo. I narrowed down my compiled images to 6 photos. I then picked out the best one to use for the project and took it into Adobe Camera Raw to adjust the temperature, tint, exposure, contrast, and white balance. After Adobe Camera Raw, I opened up the image into Adobe Photoshop to make further edits. In order to achieve the desired look, composition, and white background, I duplicate my image layer and select the desired white background, including the subject. I then use the Content Aware option to hide certain areas of the image to keep the white background uniform. I then crop the image, keeping the rules of thirds in mind. I then apply a brightness contrast adjustment layer. I then apply a levels adjustment layer to further adjust the contrast and color of the image. I then apply a curves adjustment layer and create a soft S shape to adjust the image's tonal range to the desired look. Performing this assignment not only challenged me as a graphic designer, but taught me important workflows and skills as a photographer. I learned that I don't need expensive materials and equipment to get amazing results. Most of the successful shots relied on careful planning and process for execution. Moving forward, I want to explore different techniques and apply different tricks to the settings of my camera. I want to explore further with slower shutter speeds and different types of lenses. I also want to explore and experiment with different concepts by creating composite images from images that I take along the way. So that pretty much wraps up my thoughts for this assignment for the end year tribute to Tom Medvedich. Thank you all for listening.